In this episode, we're introduced to two newcomers, Asar and Kame, who are about to begin their duties at the Uku, a place strictly reserved for women. We join them on their journey as they arrive, nervous and excited, and observe the strange and intricate rituals that must be followed to gain entry. It's clear that the Uku holds a lot of power, with rules about who can enter and even rules surrounding what gifts are to be presented. It is also clear that for most women, this is the one place where they can truly exert some semblance of control over the men that seek to rule them. Asar and Kame seem eager to please, if not a little anxious, as they are being guided by one of the long-time residents. However, their welcoming is briefly interrupted by an intense and rather unusual man who seems to be in charge of security, who makes some rather odd remarks to the new arrivals. Things take an interesting turn as the new arrivals realize that their acceptance at the Uku will come with certain, and rather heavy, expectations. The women of the Uku must be absolutely devoted to their duty of serving the court, making sure nothing falls out of place. And any woman who doesn't heed the rules faces dire consequences. It's certainly a lot to take in, and when the newcomer, Kame, attempts to give away some of the special rice balls that she brought, things begin to get rather tense with the residents and some other higher-ups. There are plenty of warnings about things to come as the episode goes on, and the newcomers' interactions, while initially kind, start to feel like a bit of a trap for the women. As Asar and Kame make their way through the Uku, it's increasingly evident that they are to have specific roles to play, with only slight, if any, chance for them to assert their own feelings or opinions. Despite this rather cold reality, they seem to be determined to make the best of things, or at least learn more about their unusual surroundings. All right, let's delve into the heart of the Phantom in the Rain, ignoring all the fancy intros and outros. Our tale begins in the sprawling, maze-like confines of the Uku, where Asa, a seemingly ordinary maidservant, has just started her first day of work. From the outset, a mysterious unease hangs in the air. Almost immediately, Asa's world turns upside down, literally. She tumbles through strange, colorful dimensions, encountering a stern yet strangely sympathetic authority figure, Lady Kitagawa, who introduces her to the bewildering, sometimes terrifying, world of the Uku's inner workings. Asa's bewilderment escalates as she explores her new workplace, a space filled with shifting perspectives and kaleidoscopic colors, unlike any ordinary household. Her interactions with Lady Kitagawa suggest a deeper narrative than surface-level servitude. She finds herself in opulent private rooms where she witnesses a unique ritualistic ceremony. The setting isn't just a backdrop. It seems to be a living entity with its own pulse, mirroring Asa's inner confusion. Her initial desire to just have a quick look at the rooms turns into a fascination with the official scribe's position, and the private rooms, suggesting the intrigue is irresistible. As the story unfolds, Asa finds herself more deeply embedded in the Uku's secrets. She comes to witness that Lady Kitagawa has a purpose that Asa is about to become part of. The Uku, it turns out, is more than just a labyrinth. It seems like a space where the boundaries between dream and reality blur, where one's past can seep into their present, and an official position carries an immense weight. The sense of urgency grows as Asa, alone in a room at night, discovers a startling twist that a seemingly benign doll and an umbrella are the keys to an unsettling mystery. She begins to piece together the fact that she's not just a simple maid, but somehow bound to Lady Kitagawa's role. The narrative reaches a point where past and present intertwine, revealing that Lady Kitagawa once held the very position she now fills. The pace quickens as Asa realizes the gravity of her position and that there may be something more dangerous at play in the Uku. What happened to Lady Kitagawa? What is the Mononoke she speaks of? As she uncovers more truths about the Uku, her own fate becomes increasingly intertwined with the secrets it holds and the danger they portend. Lady Kitagawa's words echo with ominous undertones, urging her to remember that sometimes one must discard something cherished to move forward. As the story approaches its climax, Asa is caught in a whirlwind of shifting realities. desperate to unravel the mystery of her own path and find a solution amidst the chaos she cannot understand but must now face. The stakes are raised as she grapples with the weight of her new position and its responsibilities. The film uses the setting, colors, and shifting forms to keep us guessing, drawing us deeper into the narrative of sacrifice and revelation. But where does it lead? With a promise to help each other, Asa and Kitagawa agree to work together despite the odds. The film ends leaving the audience with a lingering sense of unease, as they are left with a feeling that there may be more sinister forces at play and a lingering thought as to how Asa's story will continue. The episode opens with a flashback, not to the events of last episode but of something earlier. A disoriented Asa is found by Kitagawa and a few other young women and taken to rest by her. Later, while having tea, Asa wonders why the young lady Utiyama is suddenly pushing for the ceremonial rites to go ahead. She knows it was previously abandoned due to the hauntings and believes it may be in connection to why, recently, the Okus have been so terrorized by the apparitions. A woman named Kame, in charge of assessing new roles, agrees with this point, stating that Madame Utiyama is now pushing forward despite the issues. But she says, duty sometimes requires putting down your personal feelings. Kame states that she must discern if people are trustworthy with the roles here, as she's doing with Kitagawa. This confirms what's suspected that Kitagawa will be the next victim of the Mononoke. Asa is horrified and pleads with the woman to stop the ceremony, which she has done before, but the woman asks, "Is that what you think?" Madame Utiyama is then seen, and in her chamber, Asa begs her to cancel the ceremony for the apparitions, but Utiyama doesn't answer. Later, Utiyama is seen with other Okus as the planned ceremony begins, while a disconsolate Asa looks on. "The Mononoke is scary," one of the women exclaims, as the apparitions of the others begin to reveal themselves. It seems like things will quickly devolve. The ceremony begins, but we don't get to see much of it. Instead, a series of quick shots of different scenes are shown, including how Madame Utiyama's hair is done for the ceremony. We see the preparations for the ceremony itself, then the ritual's participants begin to perform it. The apparition did a number on the old Madame Owashima, whom the narrator says looks like a mummified monk, and Kitagawa must step in. As the ceremony goes on, a woman says Utiyama must have endured so much pain, and then tells the others to give their full cooperation. A brief conversation takes place where it's shown that even the ceremony's participants are scared. When it comes to the actual ceremony itself, everyone becomes entranced. A group of spirits appear at the ceremony's edge as a large form is shown behind it. Utiyama calls for the ceremony to proceed, and as it goes on it's shown that they all have spiral faces and some other apparitions begin to emerge. A series of fast scenes occurs during this time. A man speaks of how they had taken a great toll on her, and now they must fill in the place of the late Madame Owashima. After the Mononoke is drawn by Asa, Kitagawa asks her if the Mononoke's next victim will be Madame Utiyama, and she states, "That's right." A woman then says, "Madam." But then, the woman in charge of assessing roles appears and says the apparitions might cease if you cancelled the ceremony, like you did 2 months ago. At this point, the screen breaks into 2 pieces and we're shown what's happening in both locations. The same woman asks, "Is that what you think?" Then we're shown Utiyama by herself, and then Asa thinks aloud how it is her duty. We're shown more shots and a final scene where a narrator states, "The day of the ceremony is upon us." "I ask of you," Utiyama says, "please give me your full cooperation." Then we see Asa, again with a troubled look in her eyes, bowing her head. Then suddenly, a new woman appears saying, "Ha, it's Lady Kitagawa." Kitagawa asks, "What about the ceremony?" And the other replies, "Are you joking? People have died. Surely it can't be held." Then we're shown that the ceremony will, in fact, still go ahead as planned. While the ceremony continues, the Mononoke seems to be taking control of the participants. The narrator states how that apparition did a number on her, but now there is a new woman in that place. A conversation ensues between the 2 women where the older says, "The Mononoke's next victim will be." Then she pauses to look at the woman before her with some suspicion before saying, Madame Utiyama. We are shown images of the group being controlled by the spirit, and then a final scene of Utiyama standing firm and demanding the event proceed. Then we're taken into a wild montage of images that portray how twisted and intense the event has become. The narrator says, in place of the late Madame Owashima, she looked like a mummified monk. Then it is said that Madame Owashima must have endured so much pain. Then it's said that the day of the ceremony is upon us. And finally, Kitagawa is heard saying that she believes that it's their duty. After a long silence, she states, "You're right." Then the action finally shows that the ceremony has taken place and the Mononoke is finally revealed to the viewers. Then after, we're shown the main characters as the credits begin and it ends. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.